Hey guys, and welcome to another video. And today we're going to talk about the NBA draft as it's happening as of I'm recording tomorrow, as it's to the 31st, and it'll be the first as that's in the NBA draft. So today we're just going to look at the ringers like projected picks, and just like see what I think about them, and if I personally think that what I think if it should be, if it works. I think I'll just do like just the lottery, as that's like what most people think, and you can see from the front page who the main person they're gonna talk about. Okay, so let's just get straight to it. Let's see the ringer. Yep, big ball by Kevin O'Connor. So the first one I think is pretty obvious. It's gonna be Victor Wembanyama, pretty obvious. This is high. Look at it. His weight being like 7'3", and being 19, 8-foot wingspan, 229. Pretty skinny for his height, but yeah, 21.8, 57.5 shooting is pretty good. 3.1 blocks good. 10.6 rebounds good, and I feel like he needs to improve his shooting. I didn't realize his shooting percentage was that low. I thought it's high because of like how people call him a phenom and all of that. Obviously, Victor Wembanyama's going to the Spurs, and I agree with it. Him going to be number one, and we could see he's considered to be the NBA's greatest prospect in decades, which is crazy to say, as we've had lots of different greatest prospects like Zion's hype, Lonzo's hype, and all of that. We can see that they project him to be a Gen Z version of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I can kind of see, but also kind of not, as I guess he is just like a modernized one. So I think I agree with it, because I just thought like maybe threes. You never see Kareem like shoot a three and all of that. His shades, he could become a GOAT. He interior scoring and human highlights, and got that dog in him. So it's like pretty obvious, like all of that, what we talk about. Him becoming a potential defensive player of the year, having one of the greatest coach of all time coaching him as well, is a big thing for him, as it will not like derail his career. And the only thing that people say that will derail his career is injuries, which is a big concern. We could check a bit about this video. Obviously, what the heck? Yeah, it's fine. So number 2, Brandon Miller. Kind of crazy to think Brandon Miller is now second, or what people consider to be the second one. Now this one's always is going to be interesting, because we always knew Victor was going to be number 1, but we never knew who's going to be like what second, because of who got the pick in the Charlotte Hornets. So yeah, let's see. So Brandon Miller being 6'9", as a wing, freshman, 20 years old, a bit older than Victor Wembanyama. Still averaging good, like 18.8, well rounded to 19 in 38. The 8.4 3-point percentage really good. In 7.5 3-point attempts, it's actually crazy. 8.2 rebounds and almost a block, showing his defensive capabilities. And we could see that he's considered to be a tall scorer with playmaking abilities. He can do everything on the court, which is what like pretty much every NBA team would love, as it's just a very high high want, I guess, high value players, 3&D. We could see that they compare him to Paul George and Danny Granger, which I can see from like Paul George like being one of the really good, like one of the great two-way players, Danny Granger being a great scorer, and then just like him being a wing, which makes it also. You could see from his, I guess, like traits is what they consider is human highlights, which is interesting. Feel for the game, positional versatility and perimeter shooting. I actually like this because when I play, I'm always a defensive player. So I always like when I see defensive players. So yeah. Yeah. Elite shot maker who displays an aptitude for hitting movement threes of handoffs and pick and pops. He has clean, effortless mechanics. It's really good because he can create his own shot that's not just like free and D, and he could grow into one of the stars like Kawhi and be a top 3 and D player. The only thing I've heard bad things about him is his attitude outside of the court, but I haven't tried to dig too much into it as I'm not into like college ball. Apparently he needs more like, let's see his minuses. Needs to improve his burst off the dribble. He doesn't seem to have a second gear as he turns the corner, which played into his ups and downs season playing in the paint. He's skinny in the legs and in the chest, so he can't move some defense out of his way. So it looks like he's also considered like, I guess, not as physically strong or dominant to like stop dominant players. So if he has to verse like Zion or Giannis, it's not going to be a good matchup, even though he's considered a good defender, which shows why he's just, with the positional versatility, like with that I can understand, but then like him not being able to do that is something which I don't really like. He also needs to get stronger, yep, for for people who are more stronger and physically dominant, like a Giannis or a Zion. Struggle with injury, yes. But I don't think it's that much of a concern as it was a groin injury, and I don't think like, obviously groin injuries are bad, but then it's like not as reoccurring. So yeah. Now here, I don't know. I feel like what's gonna happen is that the Hornets are gonna pick Brandon Miller just because he's highly sought out and still has good good potential, but he's already a polished player, as a bit older and has more experience. But if the Hornets want to go a bit more crazy, they will go for who people project to be number 3 in Scoot Henderson. He played for G League Ignite, who people thought would be the guaranteed number 2 as that. But then with the Hornets, it made it more interesting. So we could see he's more shorter and the same age as Victor Close. And like scoring, pretty decent, good assist, a steal, and his shooting isn't as good. But that's like what a lot of people have said, like he needs to improve his shooting. But yeah, he's a supreme athlete who wants to bury his opponents with ferocious dunks, plus he has the skills to both lead and offense and energize the defense. His shades of his comparisons are Westbrook and Derrick Rose, which I like because Westbrook is one of my favorite basketball players. So is Derrick Rose. The only thing I'm scared of is just like what comes with the negatives of like the shades or comparisons with Westbrook or Royce, because Westbrook was someone who loves keeping the ball, shooting a lot, which I don't like, and I'd like him to have Derrick Rose where he will still pass the ball. Like Westbrook passes the ball in that, but then takes a lot of like not as smart shots. You see human highlight, as we could tell from his but what do you call it? I guess just is like about him. He has a feel for the game. He's very athletic and got that dog in him. We know that he's a high flyer. He's also like, what do you call it? I guess like a decent defender, active defender. Yep. And his minus is shot selection, which is not what I'd like to see, as we can see from Westbrook, and like as when he gets older, it's like just not gonna age well. Okay. He takes too many D3s and may just stay up 30%. He's shorter, which is always gonna be a problem. And yeah. And fourth is the Rockets, who could get Amen Thompson, which I like for the Rockets, because even though I don't really like the way they develop the players, and we like how they just let them do what they want and not as like mature, you know. So yeah, having Amen Thompson would mean that they'd probably have to get rid of Kevin Porter Jr. or have him be a six man, which I don't really know if he'd want that, as like he's gotten a bag. Let's see scan reports. He's 20 as well, 6'7", 200, good wingspan, all of that. We could see. So he's a good shot creator with a distinguished combination of passing vision and zippy athleticism, which I like, because the thing that the Rockets really like had a weakness in was the playmaking, as they just had highlight players who try to just like ISO all the time, which I don't like. And hopefully Eamon Thompson can bring that playmaking and show how good or how much potential that this team has and the maturity with it. With his comparisons being like a total Ja Morant, which is really good. The only thing I'm worried about is if he guns pray, and has a parade in his a parade in the city, but you know I don't think so. He seems mature and wants to and loves basketball, so I feel like he would be more focused on that. His other one would be Beanpole Zion Williamson, which is an interesting one, and I like how they have number 1 and 2 2019 picks together. Beanpole Zion Williamson seems like a great player, even though Zion used his body, it's just that injury concern is what has like pretty much derailed his place to stardom. We could see that his traits are athletic, human highlight, ball handling, positional versatility. Being a ball handler is okay, but then also not good for the Rockets, as they already have Jalen Green, who's handles the ball a lot. It looks like in his mind it says defense already dare him to shoot. They'll be going under the ball or sagging him off, which is not good, as he's not as I guess he isn't as strong in shooting than like other players. And then we have his twin brother Asur. And let's see, like this will go to the Pistons, and Asur 6'6". Aren't they like the same pretty much? No, he's a bit taller. 6'6", 218. Blur of an athlete who makes a significant two-way with a lockdown defense and aggressive downhill scoring. So Asur, I've heard, is like the more polished of the brothers, while Eman has like the more potential. And we could see from like the difference in comparisons. We go from Jija and Zion to Sean Livingston, but with elite athleticism. I I can't lie. I'm too young for that to know like Sean Livingston, but I've heard like he was a decent role player, but he had a horrific injury, which derailed his career and made him to like a mid-range specialist. We can see that he's athletic, human highlight, off-ball defense, and position versatility. I really like Gasol, just because of that, like being two-way, being able to like finish well, and that defend and all that. I like this for the Pistons because he's tall. Or K can play like shooting guard. No, small forward. Because Jaden Ivey, and I feel like. Wait, is K? Yeah, I feel like that. Having just more playmakers would be good for them, and Missile would work well as like a 3-and-D, as he's not like too short for the position of small forward. The next one would be Anthony Black. His hair is crazy, but I've heard he's a really good defender. Enhances star teammates by instantly processing plays while thriving in any role. Um, all I've heard is that he's a good defender. Yep, as we can see, Londo Ball. We can see from his shooting, it's okay, 30, it's pretty below average, but his steal 2.1 is really good. Shooting, not as good. We could tell from here. Off-ball defense, on-ball defense, feel for the game, and floor general. A playmaking defender. He just probably, I'm guessing, needs to improve his shooting, but I feel like he's going to improve throughout the season and become a really good player. But I don't think he'll become a star just because of that limitations, and we've seen that a lot in limitation of defensive-minded players. He does create a ton of spacing off the bounce in college where he isn't surrounded by a ton of great shooters. It's already a limiting factor in his ability to create shots for himself in isolation. As we can see, still unproven shooter off the dribble, shoot in the low 60% range from the free throw line in high school. Like I said, it's all about his shooting and the worry about it. The next one is gonna be Taylor Hendricks, someone I actually haven't heard that much about. So it's interesting to me. And it looks like he played in University of California. Don't blame me, I'm not good at this stuff. Springy athlete with a type of two-way versatility. There's a lot of two-ways I've realized in this, but I guess it makes sense as the league has evolved into all of this type of stuff, ideal for any system. Good amount of points, good 3-point percentage with like pretty high volume, good blockability, and good rebounding. He has this comparison of Jeremy Grant and Jaden McDaniels, which is really good, with the like offense of Jeremy Grant, who can be a 20-point per game scorer, and Jaden McDaniels, who's a really good defender. So I feel like if he can become that, he's gonna be real good. As we can see, positional versatility, on-ball defense, pull-up threat, and hustle. I love hustle players just because I don't know. I just love hustle players because like I don't know, people who are you can't like learn hustle. You can't teach hustle. You just have it. You can't learn it. So yeah. On-ball defense, positional versatility, and pull-up threat. So I'm gonna guess his negatives would be just like off the ball. He has not received chances to initiate pick and roll as a ball handler, so it's ball handling, which makes sense as it seems like an actual 3-and-D wing. We have now Jerace Walker coming now, like up to like top 5. I don't know that much. As we can see, he's a versatile wrecking ball on defense and skill playmaker on offense. His height 6'7" makes me believe he is a wing. But I guess he's a shorter forward. But I can understand with the 7'3" wingspan, he can play that against bigger players. So yeah, I'm gonna guess it's just his shooting. I know his shooting's good. Then I don't know what his negatives would be. His improved form, yeah, unproven 3-point shooter, as I guessed. No. Oops, sorry. But like, yeah, we've seen them, and I forgot to check the teams, but it's fine. It's just more about learning the players, and yeah, then you can make your own thing. So Cam Whitmore is a relentless competitor who has a high floor and has flash signs of stardom. He's only 18.9. He's going to become 19, one of the younger players in the draft. Miles Bridges, I don't know, like potential-wise as being Miles Bridges isn't the best right now just because of the stuff that they've called. I forgot to do the potential of Jerace Walker. I'm sorry. I just don't want to make it super long. So Larry Johnson, Carl Landry. It's kind of weird to see that he has like these older people. Like everyone has like Jeremy Grant, Lonzo Ball. I also have to say I feel bad for Lonzo Ball and his injury. It'd be unfortunate for him to not be able to play basketball again, as he was like the biggest contributor to the Bulls team that was able to play really well. until he got injured. Okay, but yeah. So him being like Larry Johnson, Carl Landry is interesting, and I like it. So I'm gonna guess he has like that old head type of play, which the old heads would like. Number 9, we have Cam Whitmore. Again, relentless competitor. He has a high floor and has signs of stardom. I've read that already. Meaning that he's probably like unproven player. He's probably like, whatchamacallit? He is a raw prospect, which is interesting. He already looks like he's a good defender with the position versatility, if it's talking about that, and he's like good scoring. We can't see his stats, I don't know why. But yeah, so he lacks experience in the post. It makes sense as he's not actually he's a big wing. I guess he's more through E and he's more catch and shoot, which is why. But then his second choice, he's an unproven shooter and doesn't create a ton of space. So I don't know. I guess he's just unproven, so maybe that's like the biggest thing for him. And number 10, Kobe Buffkin. Never heard of him. It's good to like learn these players as we're gonna learn more. We're gonna actually see them play next season, and we're actually close to it. And I'm here when the Heat have beaten the Celtics, and I love it. Let's go Heat. I want the Heat to win. Okay, Kobe Buffkin looks like decent, and like I guess like hey, that thing I don't know why he's 10. He seems like he boosted up to it very high. He's a dynamic two-way presence who will fill up highlight reels if his jumper keeps trending up. He has all-star potential. Having all-star potential is really good for like the 10th overall pick, even though there's like really good ones. And his shades of or like comparisons really good with Tyrese Maxey and Emmanuel Quickly fused together, with like the offensive ability of Tyrese Maxey and the defensive ability of Emmanuel Quickly is beautiful for him. And I think the only problem is just gonna be it's not gonna be playmaking due to them being good play or like dribblers, ball handling. It's gonna be just like catch and shoot as my guess. Yeah, gets out of control as a ball handler keeps to make his turnovers. Proven shoot off the dribble, and I understand. And being more like most players are now skinny, which is a problem, but not really. To the next player, we have Cason Wallace. He is 19.6, freshman for Kentucky. He's shooting pretty much 12 on 34.6 3-point, which is okay on pretty high, pretty high volume. Good assists, like the turnover ratio isn't that bad, and 2 steals, which shows me he's a good defender. Yep, game-changing point of attack defender who also fills the gaps on offense as a playmaker and shooter. So it looks like he's a catch and shoot, with being able to fill gaps. We can see his comparisons being great defenders in Drew Holiday and DeAnthony Melton, both known for great defense and not really as much scoring, even though they can score. As you can see, he's a hustler, catch and shoot threat, feel for the game, and on-ball defense. It's our first time seeing this catch and shoot threat. That means I'm gonna guess he's not that good off the dribble, and probably his handling isn't gonna be good. We can see from the minuses, yep, unproven shoot off the dribble, especially from behind the arc. He's more comfortable from mid-range, especially going to his right, which is very bad as like Kobe. And like people who have that mental of like watching and understanding, they will find that and just exploit you and pretty much take you out the game. But then he's still young, so he still needs to learn that and still learns all that. And here, his dribbling, his ball handling, can see his lack of burst off the dribble and his lack of elite handle, like I said, is going to be about those two. To the next one, we have Grady Dick. 12th overall, freshman for Kansas. I've heard about him. He's a sharpshooting wing with playmaking skills that make him more than just a specialist, which is good. He has 14 points, 40% on with good high volume, good as well. good like good defense, like catch and shoot threat, pull up threat, feel for the game, and hustle's probably just gonna be his small frame. It's gonna be my guess as he's only 204, and we could see off the dribble, lack of burst, and guess he's more of a tough shot maker, which is okay. Defensive liability at at this stage of career, has skinny frame. Like I said, skinny frame is gonna weaken him, and has subpar natural quickness. So he has like, why is it always white? I guess it makes sense. It's always the white people who don't have like athleticism, and his shades of is very like big difference. We got Reggie Miller, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest shooters of all time, to Bojan Bogdanovic, who's a good shooter, but comparing like Reggie Miller and Bogdanovic is like a big spectrum of where he can be. Like Bojan is a good starter, while Reggie's a Hall of Famer. Like, you understand what I'm saying. Next is our last two with Keontae George. I'm pretty sure he's going to be with the Raptors. Hopefully, I've heard he's been good. He's good, and I can see from it being a good shooter, as we saw that the Raptors weren't good at shooting, and I had the streaky shooting, Freddie He's not having the best one. 15.3, 33.8, pretty streaky, but also just because high 7 3 points attempted per game is a lot, and it's not like the worst efficiency. A good turnover ratio actually, and decent steals. Being a scorer with the ability to shred defense, though he's playing with defensive intensity, give him the upside to be a complete guard, which I love. Being able to like have the ability to grow and become a good defender as well. I like that with the guards. I'm gonna guess with his guess the thing with his is gonna be defense and playmaking, and doesn't give the quickest first step. Yep, it's really sucks against the top 25 competition. If he commits some avoidable ones, it makes sense as he's young and not as like mature and understanding of it. Shades of Bradley Beal and Jaden Hardy. Again, a pretty big spectrum. Bradley Beal being a league leading scorer, while Jaden Hardy being young and like just being a scorer, but like on the G League, from like all NBA to like G League. But yeah, Jaden Hardy can become really good. And our last one, Nick Smith, who from memory has been injured, as that's why he's gotten down. He's a slippery scorer who can get by into any shot he wants to, but needs to improve his consistency. His comparisons are Jamal Murray and Tyler Hero, which is very interesting as both of their teams are versing, but I don't believe Tyler Hero is going to be able to come and play. You can see his traits are ball handling, float game, scoring, and pull-up threat. It makes sense as he's a scorer, and I'm going to guess as his defense and small frame. Yep, strength is a limitation for him, and forces so many unwarranted shots. So he can be considered shot chucker at times. And I'll just see if I know anyone else here. I know G.G. Jackson, Derek Lively, but yeah, Jet Howard. So these are the rest. If you want to see Chris Murray, and yeah, so that's it. That's all. I'll give you the information about, and I hope you enjoy. And I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.